You've probably noticed how money seems to come into your life, but never actually stays. Like there's some invisible leak that drains everything you earn, and no matter how hard you try, you can't figure out where it's going. You work, you get paid, you make plans, you tell yourself this month will be different. But by the end of it, all that's left is the feeling that something is out of control. And the strange part is, this doesn't only happen to people who earn little. It happens to people who make decent money too, yet still live in the same cycle. Money comes in, money goes out, and nothing really changes. What most people don't realize is that this isn't just a financial problem. It's a behavioral one. There's something hidden in your everyday decisions, almost invisible, that determines the fate of your money long before the month even ends. And once you understand that, you realize the real issue is never just about earning more, but about what you do with every small decision that feels meaningless in the moment. There's a silent behavior that destroys the financial lives of millions of people without them even noticing. It doesn't look dangerous. In fact, it disguises itself as something positive. It shows up when you want to avoid conflict, when you want to be accepted, when you don't want to say no, or when you simply want to be seen as a good person. And that's exactly where the money starts slipping away. A dinner you didn't really want to attend, but went to so you wouldn't seem distant. A financial favor you agreed to so you wouldn't disappoint someone. An impulsive purchase just to keep up with others. Small decisions that, on their own, seem harmless, but together create a destructive pattern. The problem is, your brain doesn't register these as losses. It sees them as social connection, kindness, generosity. But your bank account tells a very different story. And that gap between emotional perception and financial reality is what keeps so many people stuck for years. Now imagine this isn't just an occasional behavior, but an identity. There comes a point where you start believing that being good means never refusing anyone, that being liked means always being available. And when that happens, your money stops being a personal tool and becomes a social one. You're no longer using money to build your life. You're using it to maintain your image in the eyes of others. And the most dangerous part is that while you're busy being seen as generous, you slowly start ignoring your own needs completely. Bills start getting delayed and become normal. Having no savings becomes routine. The feeling of financial progress simply disappears. You might even work harder, try more, earn more. But deep down, you're still stuck in the same cycle, like you're running in place without moving forward. And then comes a moment when something starts to weigh on you. Not in a dramatic way, but quietly. You begin to notice that you're always available for others, but rarely anyone is available for you. That when you need help, it doesn't come with the same speed you give it. And that creates a silent frustration that's hard to ignore. It feels like there's an imbalance in your relationships, where your yes is constant, but your no barely exists. And that's exactly where many people fall into financial crisis without realizing it. Because money doesn't disappear all at once. It drains through small emotional compromises that feel justified in the moment, but build up into something massive over time. And when you finally look back, you can't understand how you ended up there. The turning point almost never happens in comfort. It happens in discomfort. A situation comes up where someone asks you for something, and for the first time, you feel the real weight of the decision. And even with the fear of disappointing them, you say, no. It's not a harsh no. It's not a long explanation. It's just a boundary. And the reaction from people reveals something you never wanted to see. Some distance themselves, others question you. Some try to make you feel guilty. And suddenly, it becomes clear that not all relationships were based on you, but on the access they had to your compliance. And that changes everything about how you see money. Because you realize it's not just about numbers, it's about boundaries, about respect, about self-protection. From that point on, everything starts to shift slowly. You begin to look at your spending more carefully. You start noticing how many decisions were emotional instead of rational. You realize how every small automatic yes had a hidden cost. And little by little, you start rebuilding something you thought you lost. Control. At first, it feels uncomfortable, because change always does. But there's a difference between discomfort and destruction. And you start choosing the kind of discomfort that builds you instead of breaking you. Money starts to last longer. Anxiety starts to fade. And for the first time in a long time, you don't feel like you're just surviving, but actually building something solid. And maybe now, as you understand all of this, you realize the problem was never just about earning more. The problem was always about how you relate to what already comes into your life. Because money doesn't stay where there are no boundaries. It doesn't remain where there are no priorities. And it never stabilizes where everything and everyone comes before you. The moment you learn to protect what comes in, you completely change the game. Because every no you say to what weakens you becomes a yes to your future. And that's exactly where money stops just passing through your hands and finally starts to stay with you.